Hello, everybody. This is your Matt Salvi coming here with something recently released from Mutahar on the whole Discord call with Jirard. Let's take a look.
Like that's just a fucked up situation to be in.
It really is.
Yeah. And I don't know, Carl. I don't know what else we can really ask. I think every question.
Yeah. Well, I just want to know, like, you said that you don't take care of the books, but you were aware of what were on them. Is that correct?
As far as what, like, expenses go?
Expenses and the fact that the cash was sitting there. Have you been aware of that the entire time?
Those are good questions. Very good questions.
I was not aware the entire time that the money was not being donated.
Yes, this is where he says he had no clue, which is just BS,
we had to
honestly.
make sure, because it's legally speaking, you have to do it, otherwise it's against the law, that it was under a certain amount and that it wasn't too much for, and purely just to, like, you know, buying hot
And he's just protected. He's worried about the law. He's worried about all that stuff.
The dumb shit that we do during the show. Like, the expenses were never more than a certain amount, and it was always.
So here he's saying that some of the expenses were paid by the organization, but then at some point he said that no, and then he said yes. It's getting very confusing.
It's like it's less than a couple, like 5% at most.
And of course, I'm adding subtitles down here so you guys can actually understand it.
Even reclaim it every year, because sometimes, and most of the time, all we're really quote unquote paying for is people's free time, and we're not, and everyone's donating it because it's charity. So you know.
So yeah, you're not paying for anything.
Expense that I know of, it's the only expense that I've ever really seen, and to be above board about it all, like, I've always been like, hey, if the expense is too much, don't fucking worry about it. Like, I'll take care of. I'll hate the loss, because it's. In my mind, it's going to charity anyways. It's all going to a good cause, and I'm.
So right here, he's still trying to make himself seem like, oh, I'm an amazing dude. Yes, I'm eating the cost. I'm eating the cost, of course. But then before that, he said that that it gets paid by the Open Hands Foundation. Which one is it?
I'm not trying to embezzle shit. I'm just trying to do things right.
Well, that's just money you're spending from your own. Like, that's just a check you're writing personally. There's nothing wrong about that.
So did anyone?
Well, yeah, no, nothing wrong if you write a check yourself.
Yeah. Did anyone tell
you weren't notified that the money was sitting there the whole time?
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like,
do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet, and that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's when I got personally involved to move it. And
did anyone?
2021, last year, 2022.
Yeah. Did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere before then? Were you being misled?
No. No one told me anything.
So yeah, he again, what we've heard before. No one told you anything before 2021, but it's your organization. You should have known. Yes, you had a family member that was holding the money, pretty much. The family member that was controlling everything. But you should check in every once in a while. Learn your lesson now, please.
I assumed that it was all going to a charity, and I assumed incorrectly.
Yes,
okay,
you did.
So you still thought it was going to the UCSF.
Whether it's UCSF or a partner that's also on our website, because we don't have any other benefactors currently. Like, that's why I was like, well, they're taking care of it, but nothing was ever brought to my attention. I just knew that conversations were happening between Alzheimer's Association of America, AFTD Foundation, UCSF started a new organization, I think called like Bluefin or Blue Group, which is like supposed to be their 501c part of their organization.
Basically, he wanted to be hands off. It seems he wanted to get all the benefits of running a charity. You know, all the PR benefits, all that kind of stuff, without having to do any of the work. He left it to his family, which I guess makes sense to a certain extent. But I don't like that.
So I know I have a paper trail of us talking to other organizations as early as 2020 and 2021 in an attempt to pay them what they were owed. And most of the conversations we had from some of the bigger orgs like Alzheimer's, they were like, look, if you're not going to pay more than 6 figures or 6+ figures of what they asked for, then you're just going to waste it. So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org and like make a bigger impact rather than just.
Well, here's the problem with that. Why didn't you let everyone know? If you were like, look, we're going to be holding this for a little bit, make it public. We're going to be holding this for a little bit because we want to make a larger unrestricted donation, as we have been told by our partners that it's a better thing to do that. You should have just said it out loud. This is why you guys are having such issues right now. This just, it eroded all the public trust you guys had because it looked like you were hiding something.
Giving smaller donations that don't move the needle.
Yeah, like, see, now the thing is, this wouldn't really even have been a story at all had whoever was running your website or your social media channels had just made that an apparent fact, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
The problem is, like, when you read the comments of some of the people that are donating, they think that money is going right there that year, right? Because
exactly. I think every year it's going to happen.
Is going to expect, right? Like, if I ran a charity for, like, you know, the Palestinian, like, Israeli conflict, they would think that if I raised $1 million, like, on demand, or at least shortly after that stream, that money would be immediately connected to, like, an actual charitable organization.
Exactly.
Like, that money wouldn't even touch my accounts; it would just go somewhere else. So that's what
everyone thinks. That's what most charities do.
Especially when they read like the articles from Dual Shockers, where they read the headlines. It's like 80,000, 100,000 raised for dementia research. But if it's just sitting in an account, obviously, I think people are going to be very, very, very angry if they just see the filings as they are now. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to say please don't make videos on me, because that's just what's going to happen. I can't stop you guys from doing
But it still seems bad that you're saying it right now.
What I do is do the right thing possible, because in my mind,
This very much seemed like a hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I mean, the most important thing to me right now in all of this is that, one, I'm not trying to dishonor or ruin the legacy of my mother who put me here. The reason why I'm on YouTube and why I'm here is because of the life that she's given me and the things that I have.
Here's where he seems like he's going for pity bucks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, my phone just suddenly won't light up. What the fuck? My phone is acting like it just died.
I can still hear you fine.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
The last thing I want to do is ruin the legacy of my family, of my mom and her memory, especially because this is such a personal thing for the last 25
Like I said,
years of my
pity.
life.
It sounds like he's just going for pity.
You know,
I feel for him, but it sounds like he's going for pity
here.
here.
You guys want money to help me hide this? It's not this is at all. I'm just asking from a humanity perspective of, like, if I am the target of this.
Again, like a hint, hint, wink, wink.
Sponsors, I have a business.
Don't do this. You're going to ruin me. It's going to be your fault that I'm ruined. That's what it sounds like. It very much sounds like, hey, if you do this, it's going to make me seem really bad. And it's your fault that I'm going to be really bad. Not because I'm doing this, but because you guys are letting everyone know that I did this. That's the BS part.
Video games. I'm trying to get out of content creation so I don't have to worry about YouTube anymore and do better things in the world. And I just know, because of my track record of things like G4 exploding, me being friends with JonTron when he was a racist.
Again, like I said in my other video, this is BS.
Pro Jared, like,
this doesn't matter.
Pulling one thread about the charity thing is going to upheave my entire life in a way that scares the living crap out of me. And I don't want to go home tonight and tell everyone, hey, there is a gigantic thing coming to claim my career, and you all have to close down and find somewhere else to do. I know this is shitty of me to say this.
It is shitty of you to say it.
Sympathy or anything, but this kind of stuff. I mean, I've been following your guys' stuff for years. The stuff with Billy Mitchell, Karl, the stuff that you've done, Muto, with tons of content creators over the years.
Really is BS, man.
Like, there's no nuance to this. People are going to see this, and they're going to immediately go, that Jirard guy who's been nice to a bunch of people actually isn't very nice overall. Fuck him. Let's get rid of him. And
which is what's happening right now, honestly.
The most, because I don't have the power or opportunity for that. That's not in my control. I've got nothing in my pockets to do that. I have nothing. And so that's just where my head's at. I just want to be able.
This is where he's panicking. He's like, "Oh God, this is gonna look really bad. I don't have the money for PR." Is what he's sounding like he's saying. I don't have the money to fix this with just. I don't have money to throw at people. So this is gonna be very bad.
To create content and do good in the world, and this is just gonna. It's even if I survive this somehow, even if this is like people are like, well, whatever, that's how it is. Yeah. It's gonna take the passion out of what I do. People aren't going to trust me ever again. I'm not going to trust myself ever again. And I'm just going to walk away from all of this. Like, this is like me being like, great, so I'm out. Not just of content creation or being an online personality. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to disappear and start over and never talk to anyone ever again. And
oh, boo-hoo. Let me play the world's smallest violin for you. Boo-hoo, cry me a river. Really, I don't feel bad for you. You brought this upon yourself because you did not pay attention to what was going on. Your organization did not communicate properly. It is your fault. I do not feel bad for you at all. I feel bad for the people who didn't receive the money, the organization didn't receive the money when you said that they were going, when you gave the inclination that every year you guys are donating this to somebody. That's who I feel bad for, not for you. Good thing that this is happening to you. I really do like that it's happening to you because you deserve that. No one deserves to have the opportunity that you had and just squander it away like you did by being, I don't know, disingenuous the way you have been.
That's the spiraling that I've been dealing with the last 3 days of talking to therapists and doctors and just figuring
oh, boo-hoo. Again, boo-hoo. I don't feel bad for you.
A couple of days ago because of the email, and I'm like, well.
Oh, he left. Or it broke off. This is the part where it kind of broke off.
Fuck,
He disconnected. Okay.
Heavy. I mean, my personal belief is I really do feel like this is the internal civil war. I mean, he says, what can I do to make it right? Honestly, the thing
there's nothing
he can really do is just send that money.
He should have sent that money before this happened. But yeah, he should have sent the money immediately.
$600,000 plus is enough money to make an actual difference, right?
It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he can make a difference or not. He asks people for money. That has to go somewhere. It doesn't matter what he does.
Karl is right.
That's a red herring.
That Karl is very right. It's a red herring.
Yeah, the money has to go somewhere. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but saying that I didn't want to give it here or there.
This wasn't even such a personal thing. Fuck, dude. It's heavy. But yeah, I mean, the story is the story, right? Like, fuck, what's gonna?
It's just unfortunate.
It is.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate for the people who didn't
Do you
receive the
believe
money.
when he says that him and his dad are having this thing with each other? Because I find it like I kind of believe it in the sense that he knows that this could have blowed back on him, and he is the face of this organization.
Of course,
but, I mean, it is
of course.
family, right? Or do you think it's like he's just trying to throw his dad under the bus? And
But he's
He's there trying to save his own ass, is what he's trying to do.
Working with Alzheimer's organization, UCSF, you know, like he's doesn't appear to be that way when he's talking about it on IndieLand recently. It seems like he was just saying that they're supporting all these. If he's upset that they weren't supporting these people, why is he publicly saying that they are supporting them? Like, it's just like completely the opposite.
Yeah, he's talking in circles.
Yeah.
He does not know PR.
Like he was just lying.
He's trying to save
He
his
was
ass.
saying that he knew that it was just sitting there, and then publicly saying that they are supporting these places. So he wasn't. He's admitted that he was lying, and it was not ignorance.
That's the thing. It's I don't know. It's just dumb. I don't like what he's doing at all. I don't like it at all.
yeah. So I think we have more than enough, to be honest. I think that's a pretty damning call.
Hopefully he comes back just to put a
Just wait,
lid on
we'll
what
wait
he
a
was
couple
saying.
minutes for it, I guess.
Yep. Come back.
I mean,
Hopefully.
he genuine like at the end of the day, I
Oh,
don't know
sorry
what
about that.
expected, to be honest. It's like I can't personally be guilted into not covering the story now, and I don't think anybody would be, right? Like it's kind of like if Logan Paul sat down with you and told you like, hey, please don't do this. I'm like, that's the story.
Nope. Story's there
You know?
because you messed up somewhere. So the story's gonna be there.
It's just like the thing is like if this was some fucking financial scam, it'd be a lot easier because it'd be nothing to do with it. But I do feel bad because this was founded in like his mom's name. But you know,
Well,
I
that's
think
not
the way
some.
that I'll
It's, you know,
portray it-
it's that just makes it worse.
It does. It does make it worse.
Yeah, it just makes their actions worse. It's not like I got to feel bad for. I mean,
He put the mother's name out there because he wants you to feel bad for him. But no, he's the one who made the mistake. I feel bad for the people who didn't receive the money. I'll say it again. I'll feel bad for the organizations that didn't receive the money when they were supposed to receive it every single year and had to wait 10 years to get that money. That's who I feel bad for.
I feel bad for the employees and the people that helped with IndieLand.
That too.
weren't involved
That definitely
with
too.
Open hand, you know, people who have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That
people
too.
Who think they're doing something good and they're like invested in it.
They're volunteering their time.
The story-
because
yeah.
he.
the story for this is like obviously if you got employees working for you and people, it's like they don't know that they were inadvertently the faces of this organization, right? Because at the end of
Absolutely.
the
That's
day,
very
it's like-
true.
And I mean, I'll make a parallel in my video. I'm like, it's kind of like crypto scams themselves, right? Like when you're the influencer in the face of an operation, it's like what happens with the actual operation, they never get hit the most. It's the people that are the faces, right? So in this case, it's like Jirard and like the people that work for him are the ones that have the egg on their face. So it's like, what do you do from here, right? Like, do you
Exactly.
donate that money and try to
Exactly.
alleviate the situation? Sure, but like this makes me personally question a lot of other YouTuber charities, right? Like,
And that's one message that I want to give out to you guys. Do not let this discourage you from giving money to other charities. Find a good charity. I think there's like Charity Scam Watch, I think it's called, which gives ratings on how good a charity is. Go look it up. Look up charity ratings. There are some AAA and A-rated charities. Go for them. Go for people who actually give the money. Don't let this discourage you. If you feel like giving, give. Don't let some idiot like Jirard discourage you from giving money if that's what you still want.
here's the thing: the IRS didn't catch this. Nobody else caught this. A whistleblower, me, had to sit down and we figured this whole thing out in like a week, right? And then to get kind of
Hey,
snarky
Gerard.
responses from the organization. Hey, yeah, you disconnected for a little bit. Your phone. Oh, I think he's still trying to sync up with us.
All right, so right now they're just trying to get that whole thing going, that whole conversation going again, because yeah,
I think it's still trying to connect.
he was on the phone, I think, with them on the actual phone through Discord, and that right now they're actually just trying. But yeah, like I was saying, don't let it discourage you. What they should have done is every single year, like almost every other organization does, they should have given their money every single year. That's what they should have done, but they didn't.
I think is yeah.
So yeah, it's
A
just
little bit.
there is no way, shape, or form you could
Yeah, I don't really know what
write this
much more to go off on. I don't think
properly.
there's any question worth asking. I think this call was definitely good to have because, at least for my video, I will definitely shut on the fact that there are. I know it's off the record, but I can say that there are differences behind the scenes between Jirard and a few of the directors, and that's one of the reasons why the money wasn't moved. Right? Like at least I think it's fair to
No.
provide. No.
There's no what?
Or at least that's what
Gerard's
the
like,
claim
you
is, right?
think
That's- we can just say
that's the
the claim.
claim, but do you think that Jirard would say, "Hey, we need to donate this money," and his dad's like, "No, we're keeping it." I just don't believe that conversation would happen.
That is very true. That is very true. Jirard has to have some swing because of the fact he is the face of it. He has to have some swing. It's not like he's trying to throw his dad under the bus, if what I'm hearing is correct, by saying my dad didn't want to actually give it. I was saying give it, but my dad didn't. Kind of sounds like he's trying to throw somebody under the bus, somebody to take all the blame and all the fall, be the fall guy for him, in order so that he can keep his PR. That's what it's really sounding like. This falls on him. He's the face of it. He should have realized it. He's the one who was pushing for it. He should have realized something was being done and should have actually gotten that money out there. Once he realized it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Really, someone in their family is like saying, no, I'm not giving away this money that you raised.
Yeah, no, that's not, yeah. Makes no sense. It makes zero sense. I like how Karl is just like, no nonsense.
We you know, you can just say that there are claims, and then you can just like tell the audience, like, now you can just believe what you want to believe out of this. We just did all the due diligence.
Exactly, and I think they did proper diligence
Should
too.
we get a Jirard to write something?
Like a written statement?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. We can just ask him.
If you...
See, this is what I like. They actually try to get him to have a written statement. I didn't know this before. They actually try to get him a written statement to kind of say his side and say what he thought. And he didn't do that. He stayed quiet for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, he didn't write any kind of things out there. He just let it all simmer and boil for 2 weeks because I guess he was on tight-lipped because he was trying to get his lawyers up in Karl and Muda's butt to try to do something to stop them. That's what I'm thinking.
You could write a written statement of your side. You know. Yeah, we can just write it in. Hey, we know you're having connection.
See, this is what I like. They did try to do some kind of journalistic integrity, as people always claim. Oh, they don't do journalistic integrity because all they are drama YouTubers. They're all just in for the drama. No, they actually try to do some sort of journalistic integrity.
Thoughts or a statement.
And as you're seeing down there, they're actually trying to get him to have a statement out. Like, write a statement, and we'll have your statement out there. On, look, guys, this is what happened. This is what went wrong. I'm sorry. You know, you throw your face out there. Be like, yeah, okay, I apologize. I take full responsibility for all this. But no, he had to wait until he made like some angry response. Yeah, no, that was bad. PR wise, I know staying quiet a little bit is good, but things aren't gonna die down.
Yeah, we'll step into a different call.
So right now they're dipping into a different call. They're making it so that Jirard can't come up, or maybe just listen in to what they're gonna be saying. They're dipping into a different call, so that there is no like third party there.
Fuck me. I think it does make it bad that this was definitely the mom. And they were doing it in her name. I'll just say it right now. There was definitely there was a lot of guilt tripping throughout that entire video.
Yes.
Or throughout that entire call.
Yeah, there are a lot of guilt tripping. I didn't like that.
Have to cover this just for the fact that this is an actual piece of fraud. Like, this is legitimate fraud. There's no question about it.
In the way charity fraud is described, it is charity fraud.
Because we have clips of him talking about charities, right? That's not. Hello?
So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I thought they didn't do another call.
Karl, I don't have an answer. You know, I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that, and that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But, you know, again, it doesn't fucking matter. You guys are going to say what you're going to say, and I can't stop it, but...
He sounds like a little kid right now. He sounds like a 9-year-old or something, you know?
None of it's
sounds like some dude that's like, oh, I'm already stuck.
Above board. Like, it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that. And that's the thing about 501c is that, like, if I did any of that, the minute I did any malpractice of that nature, literally the government would be like, hey, we're coming after you. And that's, you know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality. And
yeah, it's a big time morality thing.
Advertising this event and showing people sponsors and all that stuff. I totally get it. And, you know, I don't know how much you guys heard of me before my phone died, and I'm sure you're tired of hearing me talk. But you know, I'm at your guys' mercy as to what to do. What would you rather have me do in the public space right now to do right by you guys? Because that's all I want to do is do the right thing. And
we would have never gotten to this point, Jirard. We would have never gotten to this point if you had done the right thing to begin with. Just saying.
I'm gonna have ramifications no matter what way I turn it. I just want to be able to handle this appropriately and move forward.
Well,
honestly, for me, it was just
apologize
like,
first.
So again, just to recap everything so far, you guys have been running the Open Hand Foundation. It is your guys' 501c. You ran IndieLand. You moved money from your IndieLand yearly into this account, and you believe that for a while the money was being donated. And there was
to
a bit
clarify,
of
to clarify, the I did not take any. Me and my team did not touch any of the money personally through IndieLand. It was all connected through the appropriate Tiltify and all the 501c orgs that are on Tiltify. So it's not like I was moving money to wash things by any means. Just to clarify that.
No, they're not saying you're washing money. It's just basically the money is being touched by you by being part of your organization.
We are officially through Tiltify and through the above board right means. I did not move anything, any money for that. Just because the way you said it made it seem like I was moving money into accounts, and I that's not what I did by any means.
Oh, no.
But just
my clarification. Go ahead.
I guess on that topic, I mean, yeah. So, but OpenHand was paying expenses on behalf of IndieLand, correct?
Sorry, what was that?
So IndieLand is a separate thing from OpenHand, but
Correct.
were you saying that OpenHand was paying expenses for IndieLand though?
Only some years and no more than a couple $1,000s depending on the year. If it was too much money, just to make it right, because you're not supposed to really do that especially when you have no operating expenses. I'd only reimburse myself.
So if he reimbursed himself, isn't that technically taking money from the charity? If he reimbursed himself specifically without being on the 501c3 form, isn't that a method of enriching yourself from the charity? That just allegedly, that's what it seems like to me. I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not a tax person. I'm just from the layman's term. It seems like that in that way he was kind of enriching himself a little bit. Yeah. I mean, if you did it officially, you should have done it through the papers themselves, through your PF forms or whatever the heck you have to put in there. But this seems weird. It seems off.
I did it appropriately through the open hand when applicable, but not every year and no more than a couple $1,000s maximum.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a safe haven of like moving money and spending money on purpose. Because again, that all goes against.
Okay. But OpenHand, OpenHand and IndieLand they have to be kind of the same entity in a way. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an expense of OpenHand to pay for IndieLand if they weren't, kind of one and the same.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I think.
If that makes sense.
Sorry, could you ask the question?
Yeah, so so OpenHand and IndieLand are connected because
yes, according to him,
OpenHand is no, because OpenHand is paying for IndieLand. Otherwise, IndieLand, if it was a separate entity, IndieLand would be paying for itself.
Yeah,
not OpenHand.
That seems weird.
If that makes sense.
Correct, but not every year. Not every year does IndieLand get paid for by OpenHand.
Still seems off. Seems weird.
And IndieLand is not its own organization. The company that I founded for the Completionist is the company that puts on IndieLand and all of our charity events. And typically speaking, we don't reimburse ourselves unless it's paramount to how much money we spent. But it's never been more than a couple grand. And it's not been every year. It's only been a handful of years.
Jesus. Okay.
All right.
Still seems wrong. Still seems weird.
I guess to really come down to it, the reason your reasoning for the money or at least the company's or organization's reasoning for the money being in the account that wasn't really distributed to these charities year after year is because of the fact that some of these organizations told you that if you donated too insignificant of an amount instead of a large amount,
that seems weird to me. That seems very odd to me.
Correct. That was what was conveyed.
That seems very odd to me.
Okay. Yeah,
like organizations are willing to accept any money.
Like bringing it up from the record, it's like some of these organizations, like the Alzheimer's Foundation, right?
Yeah.
So
Alzheimer's, it's an association of Alzheimer's, I believe, is what it's called.
Association of Alzheimer's. So again, with these organizations, it's like it almost like the way that you make it sound is like it's almost like if I went to their websites and donated $20, they would kind of tell me, "Hey, donate more because it's just going to go to administrative fees."
Yeah,
right?
no, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It makes it hard to kind of believe that point. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
It's like when you say that you've been in talks with these organizations, what do you mean like in talks? Is it like a long-term partnership? Couldn't you like have written them a check right there and then for this specific year and then year after year, like the money comes in and out?
Yeah, that's what's weird.
The idea was we wanted to donate the money to an organization so that they could send a representative or someone from their organization to come forward and talk about all the good that we've done working with them and making them like the new benefactor that we've been looking for, or multiple benefactors depending on the amount of money that was donated.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as of now, the money, as far as your understanding, that $660,000 roughly is still sitting in your like that charity account, waiting for a benefactor at the right time.
According to what they're saying, yeah.
I mean, as of this week, we've been having conversations about moving it as early as today or tomorrow, just because the pressure I got from you guys. If I'm being quite honest.
So,
not that I was trying
but
to
they
save
didn't
face,
move
but,
it.
like,
They didn't move it
this
that
is
quickly.
A private fight
They
that I've been
didn't.
dealing with for
That's
months
the
with my
issue. They
family.
didn't move it
And
that quickly.
I even told my family, hey, this is the last Indie Land I'm ever going to do, because this is the 10th year anniversary of my mom's passing. And when I kind of found all this information out, I was very unhappy with what things were going. And
Yeah, that's weird.
The ramifications of this are going to be massive for everything I've ever done in this.
Oh yeah,
and,
it's he can't
Have you
recover
read
from this
the,
very easily.
the-
He's not going
the response that Jock gave?
Which one?
Well, both. Have you
First
read?
one or the second one?
Have you read any of them?
I read the first one, but I have not been around today
Okay.
to see the second one.
Because he said that what Open Hand was doing was ethical, and they haven't done anything wrong, etc.
Oh, that sounds
So
weird.
it's
That
kind of
sounds wrong.
conflicting, definitely conflicting opinions on whether or not what was going on was, appropriate or not.
Well, I think the ethicalness of it is talking about the government and the laws and how the organization
That's not ethical. That's legal, by the way.
on paper is. Like, we've never, again, no one has ever gotten paid any kind of personal expense or salary, or like there's no tax front. There's no one doing anything erroneous. We're not shifting money and hiding it from people. It's all, every dollar's been accounted for and it's there. And
Yeah, well, no one insinuated that. Like,
Yeah, well, no one's insinuating that you're just basically living it up with $600,000 that other people gave. It's just that you didn't give the money when you said you were going to be giving the money. That's the thing. People assume every year that charity's going to be giving it every single year. That's the assumption that everyone has when they give money, and you didn't.
personally, I didn't insinuate that. We were just asking why the money wasn't donated. It wasn't.
Yeah, because if that was a reality, the public filings would have just showcased that you guys would have worked more than 0 hours and you would have charged money to yourself. So nobody
Absolutely.
should logically be making that specific claim.
Yeah, no,
The idea
that's
of
just.
ethicality when year after year you can run
He's.
events
I don't know
and,
why he
you know,
mentioned
get
that
the
at
argument,
all.
say we raised 80,000 for dementia research, and the audience is led to believe that money is going somewhere when in reality it's just sitting in an account. And
See, that's
as of
that's
today,
what everyone's
right
pissed
now
off
on this
at.
call, no one has been the beneficiary, at least in some quantitative capacity. And that's really where the idea of charity fraud comes into, because what we received in the second response privately, if that was public knowledge, like when people were donating at the time, this wouldn't even be an issue, right? Like we wouldn't.
Yeah, if they had said, hey, we're gonna be saving up until we get to 600K, and then that's when we're gonna be giving money, then that'd be okay. People would be like, oh, okay. You know why they didn't do that? Because then people wouldn't donate as much. Maybe they would have gotten maybe 50,000. Maybe they would have gotten like half as much. That's why they didn't do it. But that still seems wrong to me. It still seems wrong.
Talk about this, we wouldn't have this discussion. But now that it's, you can look through public filings and you can see the story by yourself, it becomes a different situation.
Yeah.
Well, what? I'm not trying to ask for forgiveness. I'm not trying to hide this, but what would you guys like me to do? Because
You should have
wanna
given
do
the money to
everything
begin with.
involved on my side, and I want to absolve myself of this as best I can, and I know I can't. And you guys are some of the biggest creators in the space. When you guys will, whatever you guys will say, this is gonna follow me for the rest of my life, and I just want to be able to do right by you guys and by my community.
It sounds more like he's just trying to save his own skin at this point, honestly.
And by my family at this point, and I just want, I literally am about to donate all this money today, and
You should have.
prior to that, earlier this week and the week before.
But it took you
and
2
I've
weeks.
just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated the money the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it and he's admitting guilt by doing that. And I never felt that way, but I understand completely that you guys could easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And
Well, guess what? This call isn't helping too much either.
I just want to, I want to do right by you guys and what you think. When you guys got the email, and
You shouldn't be worrying about doing right by Muda and Carl. You should be worried about doing right by the people who gave you money. That's who you should really do right by. But for some reason, you're worried about your own skin more. This shows a lot about you, Jirard. A lot.
I said, please tell us about benefactors. That was genuine, because I haven't found a benefactor that I'm completely happy with, and I want to make sure that this money goes to a good cause in honor of my mom, and I'm upset that the conversations I've had haven't gone the way that I wanted. And I'm willing at this point to just donate the money to whoever. I want it to go in the right spot. I don't want it to go to some doctor's salary or some expense bill for a massive organization that it's not going to do anything for. So I guess what I'm asking you guys is, what do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Jirard, we want you to shut up and take
Wow,
that out
he's
so we
just,
can make content, that's fine.
just
If
wow.
that's what you guys think is the way to go, to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my mom. Like, this is
you did defraud people of what they thought was going to happen. That's what the charity fraud thing is. It's not that you took all the money. It's that you didn't do what you say you were going to do. In that case, it's a fraud.
I would not be outward facing knowing that I can get raked through the coals for this when I know and say every year we're a 501c3 organization where everything is public. You know what I mean? Like it's contradictory for me to be like it's going to a good cause, but also I'm tax evading or embezzling or whatever it may be. So
no one's suggesting that.
No, there's
Yeah,
no
no one
tax
is.
evasion, nobody's, again, like looking through the 501c like filings, no one could say in a million years that what you were doing is indicative. Hold on, let me just actually delete something off of the system here. According to the tax filing, according to the filings, nobody could say that you were moving money. Like I said, nobody was being charged or billed hours, so you're kind of
Yeah.
like,
So they're
in my
clear on
opinion,
that
kind of
part.
a point to be
They just
talking
defrauded
about,
the people who gave
just
money
in
by not giving it when they
applying
wanted to.
situation. The only thing, and I feel like that you should do that could make this situation better, is that $660,000 that's currently sitting. That should, instead of being earmarked like we were told by a member of the organization today, should actually be going to a beneficiary, because at the end of the day, $660,000 is going to make a difference, right? And it should have made a difference in the last several years as this foundation was operating.
As I've said myself.
And that's really what you can do. It's like there's no shame in realizing that things got fucking wild behind the scenes, but the only way to make it right is not to let the money sit there anymore and to actually, I guess, let it do work. But I don't know. Like it's I think the deception angle, because it is in a way a deceptive angle for the last several years that this has been happening, right?
Yeah, it's deception. It's just clear deception. I'm not going to say much more because it's just what it is.
And it's
right.
It was going to have to come out at some point when somebody was going to look into the filings, right? It could have been us. It could have been Coffee. It could have been anybody. And that's just
Coffeezilla is what he
situation
means.
has unfolded.
Yeah. What about you, Carl? What are your thoughts?
I don't know, because it's a tough situation.
It definitely is.
I honestly don't have a good answer. I mean,
He also doesn't want to show his hand, which is why he's not saying anything.
the question, there's two questions here. One is more important. The more important question is what morally should be done, which is just the money donated.
Yes.
And then, because that's what you've been that's what you've been saying. That's what this is all about, ultimately. You said you were going to do something that hasn't been done, so it must be done. And then as far as how to come out of this in the best way possible publicly, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
That's going to have to be like between you and the community. But
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think
Yes.
nobody should. And listen, at the end of the day, I don't like. You're not, and I'm going to say like it is, like you're not like the people that I usually look into the space like Logan Paul. So I am coming at this from an incredibly sympathetic angle. I'm not doing this to rake anything over the coals. It's just a matter of the fact,
But
this is one of those situations when I looked at it, I was
the
very
information
flabbergasted.
is going to say
And I've been
everything.
looking into the situation, what really fucks with me personally the most is now I'm going to question a lot of other YouTuber charities, a lot of other
Exactly.
YouTuber events, because when I'm
You messed that up for everybody. You messed it up for people beyond you, Jirard. Now people are really going to question this, and I hate that, because that means that people that could get benefits are not going to get the benefit of other people's charity. There are people like St. Jude, etc. If someone's going to be giving money to that, then people are going to be like, oh, maybe they're going to pull a Jirard this time. That's the issue that you created.
like when we're receiving letters from the organization, the Open Hand Foundation, really anyone that says, hey, we're a 501c charity, we have to follow US federal law, everything, that's great. But what we just witnessed here is, a charity operating, making these claims, saying that you're working with people, when in reality, the money's just kind of sitting there. It's going to make me question almost every YouTuber charity that I've ever donated to or worked with. And I think that's
Exactly. That's the big problem.
Most, more than just this story, right?
That's the big issue. Now other charities are going to be
that's really
questioned.
all that can be said. At least that's all I have to say. Carl, if you want to say anything else.
No, I definitely feel for you though. I'm
sure. I mean, this is a big civil thing.
Yeah, it's obviously not a good situation, but
I take.
But you can tell from the voice, he's like, I feel for you because of the whole PR situation, but you kind of deserve this. You kind of do, Jirard. You really do. I'm not gonna hold my tongue. You deserve this. You fucked up. You fucked up big time, and you really deserve this.
I think that you guys are dead set on making pieces about this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm definitely covering this. I know Carl is, and if Carl is, I am as well too. It's kind of a two for. We both been working on this, so it's really just contingent on one or the other.
Which is ways it should be. It should be. They shouldn't be like, oh, you're my friend, so I'm not gonna say anything. No.
I guess that's it. I guess that's all she wrote.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I appreciate your guys' patience and understanding. You know, not much I can really do here. So
No, well, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
we
just
appreciate
he
your
sounds
time.
so
Appreciate you coming
like
here,
he just
being
failed.
forthcoming. I know that obviously you've been in talks with lawyers and everything. And again, as far as off the record stuff is, I'm going to obviously keep any mention of you and your disagreements with your dad really out of it, because I know that's a very private personal matter.
Yeah, that's very
And,
private.
that's not even germane to the entire video period. We just obviously we're going to look into it. And I think listen, completely off the record over here, I think the best thing that can happen now is like obviously make these donations, and that's really what it comes down to. If like
Absolutely, that's the
you've
best
been
you
having these
could have
arguments
done,
behind the
but he
scenes,
didn't.
maybe the best way is to say, listen, this wasn't the most ethical way to really handle this situation, and you should have been upfront about it years ago. But the money hasn't disappeared, right? And this is, in my opinion, like if the money hasn't gone to like Lamborghinis or a mansion or some stupid shit,
25 Lamborghinis in his office.
then it can still go to the right places and do the right thing, and that's all that matters, right? That's all anybody wants to see. If this was a situation where $660,000 went to like a fucking like epic video game collection, then I would fucking be incredibly pissed, and like I would be so fucking scathing that it would be absolutely out of character for me. But if the money is there in the accounts, then it should just be donated to the right charities, and finding a beneficiary as early as even
See, they're way calmer than I would be. Absolutely way calmer than I would be. That's the insane part of this. They're way calmer at this than I would be.
like next week is probably what you and that team should be doing. And I'm not saying the Open Hand Foundation has to shut down. I think going year after year, if you're going to go down this road, then writing a check to these companies, whether or not that money is a big enough amount, because like looking at these filings, you're making tens of thousands up to like six figures. That's enough to make differences. And if you're going to tell people that you're donating to these charities, then you should just make that happen year after year. That's
Absolutely.
all
I agree with
should
that.
be done. And I think you do have a way out of it, right? Like, again, the money wasn't misappropriated. That is the best silver lining here, right?
yeah.
Well, I think it has to go to where you said it was going to go. Ultimately, I
Absolutely.
Think it'd be worse
So
if
those
you
charities,
didn't give it to
organizations.
the organizations that you've already named. I mean, even if you think that
Yeah,
they aren't the best, unfortunately, you said it was going to go there. If you don't send it there, you've just been lying.
Absolutely.
So you just
That's
have to
very
go where
true.
You said it was going to go. That's where people believed it was going when they donated.
It should have gone in the beginning,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
he
Well, I
sounds
mean,
defeated, which he should be.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just, listen, like, the money's there. You just give it to the people that you said that your organization was giving it to, and that's the end of that. So that's like, I think that is like, and Karl, feel free to disagree with me. I think that absolutely puts you in a very good position in front of the rest of the world. It's not like you're fucking Logan Paul where you took $1 million of crypto zoo and you're not giving it back. That money hasn't even disappeared. It's still there. The right thing can be done. So it's just a matter of
Absolutely.
going
Absolutely,
past
I agree.
the structure and the mismanagement of that organization, and just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Putting the foot down, and that's it. Because you're the face of this organization, and I definitely
And that's the thing. He's the face of it, so he should actually be able to, put it out where it needs to go.
think if you push hard, no matter what issues are in this organization or what you've talked to with these companies, you can still donate that amount of money. And I don't think all will be right. People will be helped. You'll be furthering.
Yeah. If he did it right away, it would have been good.
Especially in your mother's memory. And I think
That's the most important thing. It should have been, it was in his mother's memory, so it should have been put out immediately. It makes him look, it taints her memory. It does.
that's the most important thing.
And I would
And
I was just going to
Sorry,
say,
Carl.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't like playing dumb. I don't particularly like the comments that Jacques made saying that, obviously, you know something's wrong. And obviously, OpenHand knows something's wrong because, as you've said, you've been in meetings, you've been in contact with lawyers, etc. So obviously, there's a problem. But then Jacques is trying to tell me that, no, everything's ethical, everything's legal, we've done nothing wrong, etc., etc. When obviously, that's
That's not the truth.
no reasonable
Yeah.
person would think that's the case. So just maybe
Obviously
consider-
not the case.
you probably are anyway, but just, I don't know, just say, if you're going to make another comment, make it more honest,
Absolutely. I agree with that. 100%.
At least from the
I mean,
organization.
Yeah, from OpenHand, like from OpenHand,
No,
like
no,
official.
you've been great. Like, this is a great conversation with you. A lot. Like, these conversations, I'll be honest, are so tough to have with anybody, just because, like, again, that's like, I'm not here to make allegations that I think are unfounded. So I'm not blaming you for, like, fucking tax defrauding or like embezzlement or like laundering cash, because if I wanted to prove that,
And then he went on a video saying that's exactly what they did. So he was told here, I'm not saying you're defrauding or you're like with cash. I'm not saying you're embezzling. I'm not saying you're stealing. But what did he do? He went on a video recently, Jirard did, and said that they are saying that he's embezzling money by not signing the things and blah, 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 blah. They just told him here, that's not what we're saying. That's not what we want to say. So he's just I don't know. He's very dishonest.
Could have already proven it and confronted you. We're just looking at a situation of like legitimate, like one could construe this as a charity fraud situation, right? Like money was supposed to go, didn't go somewhere. But best case scenario, things can be redone, and things can be amended.
Amended.
So that's really
Yes,
all
that's
it
what's
is.
important.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But not take 2 weeks to do it, by the way.
The public wants honesty. I think the public's pretty smart. So if open hand, if I just gave them these comments from open hand, the public is not going to like that at all, because it's just not reasonable. So definitely, going forward, open hand or whoever talks publicly should be just completely straight up with
Absolutely.
how they feel.
Completely.
Yeah.
They should get better PR people. They should.
Do you guys think the comments we made to you made you to believe that we were hiding the money?
No, they're saying no.
No, to me it was just like the money was there in the account, but there was just no beneficiary. So when we watch the Indie Land streams back to back, right, all of them, and we hear that the money is going to Foundation A, B, and C.
Exactly.
And Jacques is telling us no, we're still looking for people. That's a fraudulent statement. That's the issue we have.
That's the big issue that people
Sure,
have.
really, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess
And
that's,
just
Sorry,
to be clear too, Indieland is the only thing that I'm a part of. Any other fundraiser, whether it be private or public within the open hand, I have nothing to do with. Just to be clear, because
Okay.
like Indieland didn't really start making any large amounts until like 2 or 3 years ago in the way of making an impact. So like when you see there's 655, that's not just from Indieland, that's from other stuff. So like I have nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know
I have
that.
the amount of
by
what
now.
Indieland is raised, and that's the amount that I'm going to dictate to donate. It's very close to the total amount, but I just wanted to be clear with you guys, because I'm trying to do the right thing here and not get in trouble any more than I'm going to be.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want his reputation to go down the drain. But too bad, too late. You already messed up, boy.
Look,
All right,
before
guys,
we end this, I don't think there's a lot of trouble, personally. I think if you got the money there, it can be appropriated the right way. Because honestly, the audience, they want to see a good ending to everything. If
Absolutely.
you were buying Lamborghinis or mansions, like I said, whole different story. But I think if this money can be appropriated right, this can obviously end in a very good way with people being helped. That's it. But yeah.
But again, he should have done that immediately, but he didn't.
That's the only way to move forward, anyways. I mean, there's no other
Mhm.
there's no other way to go about it. It just has something that has to be done, and whatever the outcome is, whatever the outcome is. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jirard.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Take care.
That's very reasonable to believe.
Before I let you guys go, I just want to reiterate, if you could just keep the family stuff to a minimum of like this topic, the dementia stuff. It's not that easy. It's never been easy, and it's very personal, and that's why this whole thing has been so
I'm
difficult.
keeping it to the charity and like the money and why it hasn't moved. I won't personally be mentioning anybody family related and the personal hell that you honestly have to go through. That's like a fucking no for me personally.
And that's very respectable. That they both held true to that. And I respect them dearly for that, because they didn't make it personal in any way, shape, or form. They were just like, this is the information we have. This is what we're sticking to. We're not going to make any assumptions other than what the actual stuff says. And I like that.
So yeah, on my end, and I'm sure on Carl's end, that's something that obviously I think we can abide by. That's just an ethics thing for any journalist, really.
I feel like aside from the Billy Mitchell stuff, I'm usually not too, I generally keep it pretty factual, or I don't. I'm not like a drama. I do talk about drama, but I'm like a Keemstar or something. Like I don't go too hard. I just sort of keep it pretty.
Yeah, he does.
factual, and
He does. It's very true.
I don't really provide much commentary or anything on top of that. So yeah, I won't do anything that you'll find completely disrespectful.
Yeah.
And that's
But
the
we are
least
gonna
they could
just
do, and that's
obviously
very
talk about
good
the story of
on
the
their
day.
end.
It's a tough story, but I think it's
Do you guys have a timeline roughly when it's coming out? Just because I want to be able, not to get ahead of it, but I want to be able to like, how much time do I have to force the organization to donate the money, and because like this isn't just a matter of like donate the money and be done. Like I'm gonna resign myself of Indieland and dissolve the event and walk away from all of it, because
I'm not sure he's done this yet. I haven't checked in on it, but I don't think Indieland's dissolved yet. I think he was waiting to see how everything went.
this is just gonna. I know the internet's gonna run with this and beat me to the pulp, and I just.
Oh, we
I
did.
don't want to.
We absolutely did.
Anything tying this back to me ever again, and just move on. You know. If I do.
So he doesn't want this tying back to him ever again. Oh, it's going to be tied to you forever, boy. It is going to be tied to you forever. Well, I shouldn't say boy. Man, sir. It's going to be tied to you forever, sir. It absolutely is.
Indieland, this year we were talking about Indieland not even being a charity event, but just being a networking event / game jam for developers, just because the amount of good that the space does. I mean, we're half a charity event and half of an indie game incubator for other people, right? Like,
Yeah.
Well, you've lost any kind of clout that had for indie games, and also one of the indie games developers, Sea of Stars, already is taking you off with their indie game, and I think a lot of other people just don't want to associate with you. So you lost your chance to even make that a good thing if you ever wanted it to be.
we help developers find publishers, and we've sometimes I publicly invest in a game if I think it's really great and I want to support them. And there's a lot of great memories and great moments and great things founded out of the positivity of what Indieland's supposed to be. And I want to keep Indieland going in the sense of that. But after this, I just don't think I can do that anymore. And if I do, there's going to be zero charity aspect to it. It'll just be for indie developers specifically.
But I don't think any indie developers are going to want to associate with you because right now you're poisoned well. Your PR is just, it's toxic. They don't want to get anywhere near you. It's bad PR to even be associated with you at this point.
But anyways, I didn't know. Is this like a thing I have to worry about tomorrow? Do I have a couple of days? Like, what's the vibe?
Karl, when are you releasing?
I had a plan, but
Is it
I
the
wasn't.
same day that you told me? Or?
We'll talk about it. I don't know, and I don't want to think about it right now. Because honestly, Jirard, I wasn't even going to talk to you. So I sort of had a plan, but now that I've spoken to you, you've told me more of your side. So I got to have a think about. I got to change some stuff. I got to incorporate that and think about what I want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, mine is contingent, obviously, on Karl, so we'll talk about it. But we'll get back, and if we need any other comment or something, then we'll talk to you.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
it.
I think
Again,
if
man,
you do
I'm
want
telling
to,
you,
if you want to write something. If there's any updates on your end, let us know.
See, they wanted to be nice and let him write something, but of course, they were being a little too nice in my opinion.
So just keep in touch.
Yeah, and honestly, I really do. I just wanted, before we end this call, I really do think that because of the circumstances, it's, in my opinion, pretty unethical. But again, the very big silver lining is the money is there, according to every PP filing that I've seen. It can all be like done right. This is
absolutely.
a situation of actual embezzlement or money being moved to the fucking Cayman Islands or some cryptocurrency offshore. This is a situation that can be rectified for very positive sakes. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
It could be done very easily, by the way. A lot easier than they made it.
Thanks, Jirard.
Take care, man. Bye.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah.
So he's out. So he's gone. And I think they all kind of ended the call at this point.
That's all.
Oh, no, okay.
That's all she wrote, man. We got it.
Yep.
And that's it. That was the end of the call. So yeah, it's as you can tell, it's just a hell situation. It's a horrible situation. Thank you for being here throughout the whole thing. You've heard my take on all these things. I paused it. I apologize if you wanted to hear all of it. But also, I mean, I had all of it here, and I had the subtitles as best as I could down there. It's going to be mistakes, as there always are. It's 48 freaking minutes. It took me forever to do this kind of stuff, so I do appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll continue doing this type of content. So if you enjoy this kind of content, want to see more of it, want to help me get through the weirdness that is YouTube and that is the YouTube algorithm, I would appreciate it if you would also let me know what you think down below. Let me know your crazy comments and let me know everything you think about it. Thank you so much. This is your favorite squirrel, that blue squirrel over there. Appreciate you. Yes, that is me. Thank you. Bye-bye.